Để mang tới cho quý vị những thông tin cụ thể hơn liên quan tới hội nghị thượng đỉnh G20 tại Bali, Indonesia sắp tới, VITV hân hạnh có cuộc trò chuyện cùng ông Denny Abdi, đại sứ Indonesia tại Việt Nam. Thank you for joining our talk show today. So, what is the context of G20 Summit in 2022?
Thank you for having me. G20 is a gathering of 20 biggest economies in the world. They want to do is, actually this is an informal setting, informal forum to address issues related to financial and economic. This is the term of Indonesia as the host of G20 this year. We are going to host it in Bali. However, we also understand the world situation today is also going not to the right direction to support the economic growth, but need to address other related matters in terms of political relation between countries. So, and then we just having a difficult situation during the pandemic COVID-19. So I think the G20 this year in Bali will full of challenges. Nevertheless, the government of Indonesia is fully committed to host a successful meeting attended by global leaders.
How was the preparation for the G20 summit going?
The government is doing all we can to make the successful event. Logistically, we are ready. We are more than ready to welcome all global leaders, members of G20 to come to Bali. At the same time, substance-wise, we also organize so many meetings. You know, G20 is not just the summit. The summit is just the ultimate meeting of the G20. But the meeting itself has been started in the last 1 year. During the whole year, we have almost 190 meetings organized under the G20 Presidency of Indonesia.
The theme of G20 Presidency of Indonesia is Recover Together, Recover Stronger. So could you please share more specific information about this theme?
Yeah, as I explained, the world just faced the pandemic COVID-19. We make a successful effort to deal with this virus. However, the impact of the pandemic are still ongoing until now. So that's why with this theme, Recover Together, Recover Stronger, we hope that Indonesia can call global solidarity, global effort to really deal with the impact of the COVID-19. And with this call, we also hope that we can work together in terms of economic recovery and to help each other and support each other.
Besides global economic recovery after the pandemic, what other important issues will the G20 summit discuss?
Yeah, we focus ourselves on the three priorities. The first, how to strengthen global health architecture. The second one is how to promote the digital transformation. And the third one is on the energy transition. So these are the three challenges that we think if countries around the world, member of G20, led by member of G20, really focus themselves to address these three challenges, we hope to see a better world, in the coming years.
Could you please share about Indonesia's top priority when hosting the G20 summit?
Yeah, that's the three priorities as I explained to you, and then, of course, as I said, we have challenges, global situation, geopolitics, tension. That is something that our leadership, our president, pay his personal attention to make the G20 summit a successful event.
Assume the G20 presidency in 2022, what challenges does Indonesia face?
Yeah, as I said, we have to still deal with the impact of COVID-19. We almost there. Cases still occur here and there, including in our region. We are working together with, of course, one of the UN, under the UN related organization, WHO, led the process. But we have all the support, we have all the technology, the expert to deal with this. Hopefully we can overcome this in the coming years. Other than that, we have to deal with tensions among big powers. Today, the world full of challenges, not just from the climate change situation, but also from tension between countries. Indonesia always promote the effort as a bridge builder in our diplomacy. So we hope when we host the G20, we are able to convince our partners, G20 members, as well as the international communities to support our priorities, not just for the successful of this event, the G20 Summit, but also to help the world, to help countries to working together, to help ourselves to focus on the challenges, and then we can overcome the current situation, as well as to prevent another crisis in the coming years if we work together.
Indonesia's G20 presidency is overshadowed by the Russia and Ukraine conflict. So how will the issue be discussed at the summit?
As G20 established to discuss issues related to the financing and the economic matters. But the members of the G20 are the major economies. They are also playing an important role in terms of maintaining political stability. Now, unfortunately, some of the countries within the G20 also have quite, heavy tension. We see the war in Ukraine now. This is the reality. This is something that we have to deal with. My President Joko Widodo, pay a visit to Ukraine as well as to Russia. The objective of this visit, of course, to try to convince the two leaders to really overcome the differences between them, and also to offer any kind of facilitation that Indonesia can do to facilitate a dialogue toward a peace process. Because I think all countries in the world, in particular members of G20, want to see the war is ended as soon as possible. Nothing we can achieve from the war. The war just creating more suffering and more crisis. We see that the impact of the war, at least now we see the crisis in terms of energy and food that can, bring the current situation even worse than what we are already facing. So this is what we hope that we can achieve. So all leadership in Indonesia, starting from the President, our Minister of Foreign Affairs, all the officials in Indonesia are now working very hard to support this event.
Could you please tell us the possibility of attending a G20 summit of Russian President Putin and the Ukrainian President Zelensky?
What I know is from the 20 members of G20, 19 countries plus European Union, 17 are confirmed to attend. So this is quite big numbers, and the discussion, the dialogue is continue. We don't know who are not attending at the end, at the event itself in the coming days. But as the host of G20, Indonesia do all effort, try to bring everyone to attend, and hopefully to facilitate any possibilities of dialogue, peace talk during the G20 summit.
Is there a possibility that Western countries will boycott Russia at the G20 summit?
We don't know. because this is really depend on the position of each member of the G20. But reading from the current situation and the development from 17 countries confirmed, the leaders for 17 countries confirmed to attend, we see a strong commitment to attend, to support the G20 leadership, because I think G20 Summit is a very rare opportunity that's only happening once in a year. And this is a very good opportunity if everybody want to sit. This is informal setting, so everybody can really sit and talk. Even they can also organize a bilateral talk if there is a willingness to start a dialogue, for example. So as the host, Indonesia quite optimistic that members of G20, most members of G20s will support the objective and will support the successful event in Bali.
What remarkable bilateral meetings are expected on the sidelines of G20 Summit?
The bilateral meeting will be like the side event of the G20 event. So there are flexibilities to organize a G20. For us, as the host of G20, our job is to facilitate the logistical support for a bilateral meeting. But certainly, I can assure you, when we see the past meeting of G20, there will be a lot of bilateral meeting between members, including with the host, Indonesia as the host.
Could you please share about the possibility of producing a formal communique after talks?
Yes, we hope that we can get something from here. As I said, with a strong commitment of G20 members and the presidency, Indonesia presidency, make all preparation to draft the communique, but we will see the end result, during the summit.
What are your expectations for the result achieved after the G20 summit?
For now, it may be difficult to hear something concrete from a situation like today. But at least from the presidency, what we hope that we can achieve is, first, the attendance. If the global leaders attend the G20 summit, meaning that they have strong commitment. So this is a good sign. Secondly, when they come to Bali, they show the leadership, they show shared responsibility, not just for themselves, not just for their own country, but also for global. Because the world needs something from G20 Summit. G20 may be only 20 biggest economies, but you see the G20 consists of cover of 80% of the global GDP, 70%, 75% of global trade, and 60% of global population. What is the meaning of this? The meaning is something happen here will create an impact to the world, positive or negative. If we create something positive, and then the impact will be positive to the global situation, and the other way around. So that's why the call from Indonesia as the host of the G20, really to the member of G20 to come to Bali, support the event, participate actively, and create something positive for us to continue and to work together as the team of the G20, recover together, recover stronger.